kind of on the string of Madrid, let's get into some other transfers, and let's start off with the biggest one, which is Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe. He's been in the news all the time, right? Obviously, the biggest name in football these days. But now the move to Madrid seems to be inching closer. He's publicly called out the board and the way it's run, and then the head of state is calling him he's telling he needs to go, or this, that. What have you guys been reading about Mbappe Madrid?
It's just a wild situation. Like, if you don't want to lose the guy on a free, sell him if he wants. And I like how they're kind of like, oh, we'll just sell you if you don't want to renew your contract. They're trying to force him into renewing his contract, but he has to agree a contract whoever may agree a fee with PSG. So he doesn't have to go anywhere. He has all the leverage. And the wild part, I was just reading today about the Emir of Qatar is outraged that Mbappe wants to leave on a free, and about the whole situation. It just blows my mind that the head of a country is, I guess, micromanaging to that extent. Like, that's probably not the right word, but it is the right word.
It's his FIFA career mode, you know?
Yeah.
It's his FIFA career mode.
They say, you're not meant to have politics involved in football. They're meant to be completely separate. And then the head of the state's like, you need to sell him. You need to get rid.
There's been links there's been links to Arsenal. Have you guys heard about these little rumors that are, creeping out?
Let's not talk about it in a serious way.
Yeah, it's a rumor.
But I will tell you, this. The rumor is he has said that would be the team he wants to come to in England if he were to go to England. Now, it wouldn't surprise me because Thierry Henry is his childhood idol. You can see plenty of pictures and videos of when they met, and Mbappe in an Henry Arsenal shirt and stuff when he was a kid. Like, it's a pipe dream. I do think this, right? If he's available, I think Arsenal, United, Newcastle, Liverpool, I think every team, if he's actually available, you have to have the conversation with PSG, right? What are you looking for?
Yeah.
I think as a club, I think Arsenal would decide we can afford to bid whatever it is they want you to bid, whether it's 150 or 150 plus Balogun or 200 million. You can afford that because it's going to be an investment, right? You're going to make a shit ton of money back. So the transfer fee isn't the issue with Mbappe, in my opinion. The issue is the players' demands, which, if they're rumored, are 800, 900, $1 million a week. I mean, forget it, dude. Like, I wouldn't want to risk debt and not be able to put players around him for that kind of money. I just think it would be silly to even go down that road. So I think it's achievable from a club perspective. I think the player is going to be the stalling point in any move that he makes, and that is a problem. That's when Mbappe needs to take a look in the mirror and go, what do I want from this career? Do I want my agents to be demanding that? Like, yeah, I could make all this money, but only in maybe one club. I think even Madrid are going to struggle to do that. You know what I mean? Like, it would have to be a crazily structured deal, and I'm very curious to see what happens. I think he'll end up at Madrid. I really do. But I'm just, I feel like at some point Mbappe may have to go, you know what, like, what do I want? Like, if I want to go here and win trophies, I'm going to have to acquiesce a little bit so that it's doable. Because, you know what I mean? And that doesn't matter if it's to Germany, England, or Spain, which is, I
totally agree with you. I think that like you said at the beginning, right? If he's available, there will be loads of clubs around the world, Saudi included, probably, chatting to PSG saying, what's the fee? And then they'll go, fine, we'll just pay it. But the wages are the thing. Obviously in France, he is getting a bit more because they have like 50% on sports tax. So if you're a sports earner above a certain threshold, half of your salary goes to government tax. So I think there is a little bit of a point for the obviously the UK is like what 42%. I think high earner tax now is 42%. So he would get 8% more in his paycheck every month if he moved to the UK. And then I don't know what it is in Germany or in Spain, what their sort of taxes are. So there's that. That's still ludicrous. $1 million a week to play.
It's interesting you mentioned Saudi, because they are, that's the place they could afford him. And imagine how excited Cartwheel Champ would be if Mbappe went to the Saudi league.
I mean, we'll get into Saudi league. Before we get into Saudi league, let's read a bit of highlight chat about this. Bro says Mbappe, just wait one more year for us, and we can get him next summer with our Qatari owners. At United, Jesus, I missed that. Oh my God.
My worry for that is that when he's on a free, he'll ask for even more money because he knows that no one has to pay a fee for him. So his wages request will be even higher.
Absolutely. Bottle says Mbappe can F off, honestly. He's done more harm than good for the club. He stopped us from signing Haaland and other world-class players just to wait for him to finally come to us, which he may snub us again. And Stefan says Luis Enrique has 1 year to brainwash him into being a Barca fan, and next summer we'll get him on a free. That's great. That's good stuff. Speaking of Luis Enrique, PSG on the flip side, maybe PSG knows the end is near, and they've made quite a few signings. First off, they had a couple players out on loan which have returned. So Mauro Icardi, who is linked and moved away. Abdou Diallo has come back from Leipzig. Gini Wijnaldum back from Roma. Leandro Paredes back from Juventus. Julian Draxler back from Benfica. Keylor Navas, Colin Dagba, Kurzawa. All these guys are coming back to the club. On top of that, PSG have signed Marco Asensio on a free. Milan Skriniar on a free. Lee Kang-in from Mallorca on a 22 million euro move. And Manuel Ugarte, the next Busquets, has gone to PSG, quote unquote. So PSG are making some moves. Do you think it's a kind of a with Mbappe plan or post Mbappe plan? Do you think they're kind of getting their ducks in line? Is that the phrase? Ducks in line? For his ducks in a row. Before Mbappe leaves. I don't know.
I think that I think it's a window that means they could do either or, to be honest. I think they're set up for both outcomes, but again, it's a squad that should pee all over the French league and won't get anywhere near the Champions League. So that's, I guess, if that's the goal, then no problem.
It's a change in direction, right? They're going away. It looks like they're going away from signing your Neymars, your Messis, your Mbappes and people like that, and they're going for similar to Madrid but at a slightly lesser level, I guess. They're going for some young Ugarte as a younger talent who's very highly recommended, which is always a risk. One big injury could ruin a career, but it's a change in direction. I think it's to prepare for when Mbappe leaves. They're going to use all that Mbappe money that's gone off their wage bill to just go and get whoever the next big talent is. I think this is the window where they're preparing to leave, but
Bukayo Saka would look good in a PSG kid. I think he'd look good.
He's going nowhere, dude. New contract. Don't worry about that.
We'll get to Arsenal in a sec. Other moves we could talk about. We mentioned Saudi a little earlier. Big news today is the big man Milinkovic-Savic making a move from Lazio to Al Hilal. He's joining Koulibaly and Ruben Neves over there at Al Hilal. Big name signing. He was always linked to United, He was always linked to big moves, never quite made the move. Milinkovic-Savic, another one to Saudi. I don't know if you guys fans of Milinkovic-Savic?
What that money can do.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago he was absolutely mint. He was so good 2 years ago. And from what I've heard from Lazio fans, I don't speak to many of them, but I've got a couple of friends that are Italian or know Lazio, how they play. His performances haven't dropped off that much. He's still controlling midfield. He's still a battler. He's still what everyone saw on him like 2-3 years ago. But yeah, it's just a bit. And for 40 million euros, isn't it? You'd think there'd be clubs from Europe coming in and being like, we'll just pay you 40 million euros. At least it gets us talking to him on the table about wages. And then if Saudi Arabia blow us out the water, we can tell everyone he's a greedy bastard. But,
Yeah.
like, that's
28
what's
years
confusing.
old.
Is there something in the background that European fans don't know? Maybe someone in the comments would know on YouTube or in the chat. Is there something else with SMS around? Something else is going on, so European clubs want to stay away? Because 40 million euros, that's a bargain.
28 years old as well. I mean,
I always wondered why he never left Lazio. He was always linked with a move. I remember him being linked to Liverpool, Man United, like big moves away, and it never happened. And now it seems even more weird that the move that he makes is most likely Saudi Arabia, which I guess money is the end all be all. But it was just kind of weird that any of those moves never materialized.
He had an up and down season, as did Lazio in Serie A, because I watched a lot of Serie A last year, obviously. You know, but he's always been a solid presence in their team. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Arsenal were linked with him at one stage too, and you know, obviously we've been shopping around in the midfield, so there must be something. Maybe his demands or something were known and just no thanks.
Even if it's not like United, City, Liverpool, Arsenal sort of level of clubs, I thought Spurs would have been all over this. Newcastle would have been all over this, especially Newcastle with the rebuild they're doing. To pick up someone like Milinkovic-Savic for 40 million when you've just spunked, 60 million on Tonali. If you've got the money, you might as well go and give it a go and revamp that midfield. He's going to be better than Joe Willock. So it's bizarre. There must be something else in the background, which means European clubs aren't bidding. I don't know. So
you said he's going to Al Hilal.
Al Hilal, Al Hilal.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Their highest earner this season was on 155 grand a week. So I'm looking forward to seeing their wage list next season.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Al Hilal are also rumored to be in for Lukaku, offering him 90 million for a 3-year contract.
Have they watched him play?
Remember, there's definitely no links between Chelsea and the Saudi Arabian.
Sure.
Right.
There's definitely no links there because Lukaku's been world class for the last 2 years. So that's why
someone send them a Lukaku. Like they've obviously just watched a YouTube compilation of his goals. You know, one of those.
West Brom, Everton, Lukaku.
Yeah.
I was going to say, they watched that West Brom season where he scored like 22 goals in the season or something for West Brom.
There's the 3 teams, right? Al Nassr, Al Ittihad, Al Ali, and Al Hilal. And it's kind of interesting to see how they're shaping up, right? So at Al Hilal, where Milinkovic-Savic just went, they have Ruben Neves, Koulibaly. So there's they doubled up in midfield, and then they're looking at Lukaku, right? That'll be their striker. At Al Ali, right now they have Eduard Mendy and Roberto Firmino, right? So maybe there's going to be a possible midfield signing, or maybe a center back signing there. At Al Ittihad, they have Jota from Celtic, who just moved over there. So we got a winger there, Benzema up front, and Kante in the midfield. And they were trying to get Ziyech, I believe. No, I think Ziyech was to Al Nassr. And at Al Nassr, they have Brozovic in midfield, Ronaldo up front, and they were trying to get Ziyech, I think, at Al Nassr. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see these, the kind of a spine forming at these 4 big clubs that were signed, which I think could be the goal. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not with Ronaldo's contract.
I found the answer, by the way. 20 million a year. So his salary is now 10 times what it was at Lazio.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
That's crazy.
I mean, come on, man. Like, no one's offering you 10 times. Like, you might have had an okay season, but not enough to offer you 10 times your salary. That's where the issue is going to lie. But that's fine. We're going to find out who are mercenaries and who are football players.
I mean, let's come with an air of positivity. Who sees it as a
me being positive?
The Saudi League. That was positive.
Yeah, that was me being. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
It's like Cart said before, right? If they're selling a project that is you can revolutionise football in the Middle Eastern area of the world, where there isn't this fast, knowledge of like football as we know it in Europe. That's a bit disparaging to say no football knowledge, but as Europe knows it and as America is doing its own thing, there's that gap in the middle. And if this could be the market and they're selling that project, then great. But if you're selling that project with 10 times the amount of wages you're currently on, that's definitely going to help as well. So yeah.
I mean, I don't know the geopolitical landscape, but Russia is in Asia, and they're included in UEFA competitions. Saudi Arabia is right there as well. Why couldn't they be included in UEFA competitions? Also, there was an interesting video. I don't know if I shared it with you guys, but there was a video of Bobby Firmino stopped outside the stadium. He got outside for a split second to take a picture with a fan, and he got mobbed by all these fans. And you know, that just shows you that there is a massive passion, you know, for these guys over there. And what I'm curious now, I probably should have researched this, but I wonder how affordable the tickets will be to the average guy out there. I imagine with all this money that they have, they could potentially make tickets quite affordable for the local people there. I don't know. I'd be curious to find that out. But yeah, it will be interesting to see.
The league, if their project is to grow that league, they have to make it affordable for fans.
Right, right. Yeah,
because not just that, they need to make it fans like what football used to be, where the working man can take his kids who might be naturally gifted at football and then have a chance to do something about it. That goes back to, you know, what we've talked about before, which is growing the sport. If the goal is to grow the sport and not just have the showbiz element of big name signings, then, you know, yeah, they're going to have to do things like that to make sure the youth of the country benefit from it.
Last little thing about Saudi Arabia is, you know, you got the big four clubs, and then you have this sideshow called El Ettifaq. Ettifaq? Fac? I don't know.
Yeah. El Ettifaq, yeah.
Steven Gerrard is the new manager. Rumors today of Jordan Henderson signing with them, and also Divock Origi going there as well, which is kind of fun. You know, you could see that would be the fifth team. You know, you got the big four, and then, you know.
I know one American that will buy a shirt if Origi goes there. Soccer to.
Yeah.
He will. 100%.
He will.
I feel like Steven Gerrard probably took over that job and went, go and get me Mo Salah. And they came back and went, we've got you Divock Origi.
Yeah. Hey, Salah's got to be primed for a move over there as well, no? I mean,
I think he will at the end of this contract with Liverpool. Yeah, I think he'll be. He'll finish.
I bet Mane ends up in Saudi Arabia
Mane as well. Yeah, they could make.
Yeah.
Little highlight, I think, from earlier in our conversation. Bro says apparently they want Rashford or Dembele to be their star player when Mbappe leaves, which could be interesting.